whatever. And it's like no one's watching it, but then something crazy happens. The internet's going to talk, and then it's going to get the attention. So, it's kind of like Bravo does a good job of putting so many of these experiments out there where you're having all of these different petri dishes of drama that you're going to get something crazy, and then the audience is going to really feast on just analyzing it and all of that.
Yeah, like to that very point, like we just had a season of Real Housewives of Miami. Some people really loved it. I was kind of like, it's a B season. This cast needs to be changed up. It's the same cast. We've had the same cast for a while. I spent the whole season saying these are the people that are going to be changed up. Really not a bad season, but nothing like to what you described. Then we have a reunion, and our first ever lesbian housewife, Julia Lemagova, who's married to Martina Navratilova,
Hmm.
she comes out because her job might have been on the line. We're not so sure she was coming back. It comes out, she brings it up herself that I slept with Adriana, a former housewife sitting across the couch of her. When we were in the Hamptons, we slept together. Now, Andy, who's doing his job, cannot even hold it in. Like, what? So here we are. Like this is at the reunion. The whole season's a B. Some say B minus. And this girl, this Adriana, she doesn't really deny it. And then we go to the second part of the reunion, and it turns out Adriana's like, "Listen, I care about Martina." Because listen, here's the thing about reality TV, which I will give the housewives. There's so much that we don't know. Here's an example. I'm about to tell you, like, I know this for a fact. Like the real dark stuff, they don't bring out. They really, truly don't bring it out about each other unless they're pushed. So here's Adriana, who's like, well, you're telling the whole world now that you and I slept together and she's single, but she's straight in the Hamptons. Well, I never was going to say this, and I really respect Martina, but what about the fact that you were fucking a Haitian mortician who happens to be a man, and you were renting the hotel room and you were buying him a coffee maker and this and that? And Andy's like, what? Oh, and by the way, you also were fucking a cop. So here we are. In the end, Martina Navratilova's wife, it turns out, she's not really. Here's the thing about a lie. When you lie, it's obvious. But when you're very specific, because these two were friends, she's like, you told me everything. You were fucking a Haitian mortician and you bought him a coffee maker. Chances are that's not a lie. It's pretty specific.
Yeah, and then you can see the person's response. They're just like paralyzed by like, oh, you went there. Yeah, look, I mean that's
And
like
here we are. And now we have a season where I think everyone's coming back. So
it's like the M. Night Shyamalan effect, where the movie The Sixth Sense sucks until you find out at the very end that Bruce Willis is dead or whatever. Sorry to spoil that for you people out there, but that's it. Like no one would ever want to see The Sixth Sense unless you got to that point where you're like, damn, that ending's crazy, and that's kind of what a good reunion episode can be, is like a whole season. Netflix had this with a few, Love is Blind always. It's like you just like feed people a little bit here and there, then the reunion, you're like, oh my God, what happened? And yeah, that's it. And yeah, you got to deliver, and you got to that's what feeds, and it's just like such a tight needle to thread, because yeah, it's like how far you take it before you're going too far. And in certain themes, you might trigger audience, and it's reckless. But at the same time, a lot of these people wouldn't exist on TV if they didn't bring that. So I think the smart thing to do as an audience is just like leave it out there. I always say it's like Yellowstone. You don't go up to the bison. You're gonna get trampled. Just drive through, appreciate the scenery, and then get out. And that's how audiences should be. Just like let it be. You know what I mean? Because
no, I
you're
don't know
what
what you mean. Like you mean watch it, but like what?
I mean like don't like watch it, enjoy the like enjoy the wreckage of all of the drama, because as audiences, we get outraged, we're passionate. This is what pays our bills, having audiences that are like this. But we have to remember, if they didn't give you this on camera, you wouldn't be getting fed. So if you're going to go to the Coliseum and enjoy the gladiators, just get out there knowing that you did your part as an audience that fed and provided the demand for what you're watching. And I think people go, I don't think people like to hear that, but it's like none of this shit exists if the audience isn't getting a twisted joy out of pointing the fingers at it, you know?
Well, they are getting a twisted joy out of it. And like you said, Thank God, because that is, like for instance, when this Wendy thing happened, it happened like on a Friday, like Thursday night to Friday. My shows were already, I already did my Friday show. I did my Saturday. Could I do an emergency episode? Absolutely. The point is, I was like, we already have a schedule here. So I didn't do anything Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I did something on Tuesday. But the point is, I mean, I had thousands of DMs. When are you going to cover this? When are you going to cover this? I'm like, as annoying as this is the best thing in the world. This show's like, everyone else covered it. You want me to cover it. Thank God I have a brand. The point is, like, so audiences do that, but they don't get out. They get in. Like you and I, like I really truly say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. When this job is over, which hopefully it won't be ever, possibly, I'm not going to talk about this. Really, I'm going to be living my life. And I'm not criticizing the audience, but they don't get in and get out. And Bachelor, I guess, is the same way, Bravo especially, but they get in and they get in. There are fights over this one versus that. I'm like, these people don't know you. So that
Yeah.
psychological, I am not criticizing my wonderful audience. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm not sure I fully understand.
Oh yeah, the psychology is crazy, right? Because like you've got I'm sure there's threads online that discuss you. Like you've become sort of a parasocial character
Oh, there's Reddits
audience.
that want me to be like, if they need me hit by a train tomorrow,
Yeah,
they,
and
they
like
would come
and
to my funeral and
oh,
throw a party.
I'm banned from things and the shit talking and I think I've stopped feeding it because it
Me,
becomes to a level where you realize there's nothing I can do to change this and I wouldn't exchange that for not having success. Like I've done
correct.
jobs that suck and not getting paid and if this is what you have to deal with and I think what I've had to learn and I try to tell people this about like politics and the internet is that most people aren't online. Most people aren't even consuming the internet. Those that aren't commenting. So it's a percentage of people. And that megaphone is so loud, but it's really not that many people. And I think we're getting past that part of society where those several dozen collectively several thousand, whoever it is, people that want to put a coalition to petition against this or that, they're really like not a representative of overall society. Most people are reasonable. Now, I'm not defending fraud or DUIs or things like that. I'm just saying, in most cases, the internet is the most aggressive opinion, unrelenting, hard to change somebody's mind. And that's probably the type of person that's just online nonstop. And most people, when you have a conversation with them, we're all like in the 90% club. Like whether you're on the left or on the right, most people can all sit down and have a meal together.
I agree 100%. I truly don't feed the beast either. Like well, first of all, I agree. Like, I truly think this is what it comes along with the job. I know that you can say the most horrible things about me. That is in my job description. It is. That it just is. So it shocked me because these housewives are in people's DMs, they're in people's comments. I'm blocked by so many people. It's like that is the job. It's nothing personal. So when it's against me, like a Reddit thread or something, I don't care. I'm like, that is the job, David. If you want to go and have 3 followers, there will be nobody talking about you. So I agree with you. That is the
And if I
job. Thank
do
God.
comment, I'll try to do it in a way that still furthers my career. Like I'll make a merchandise shirt off of it or something. I had another content creator edit me out of their episode, when someone like shouted me out and I made a shirt out of it and made a couple grand. And I was like, my audience wanted to support me. They wanted to support the fact that I got snipped by this other dude. But yeah, I mean, most people, haters, they exist and they're still consuming the content. And I think most reasonable people just aren't activated the type to comment online and they exist more so. And I think what I've had to realize, like if I'm doing a stand-up set in front of 200 people, I have to be very selective when to respond to the heckler because I might have 199 people that are having a good time laughing, and then if I ruin it by pulling this one person's heckle, if like they have to be like loud enough that it bothers the whole room. And that's how I feel about the internet. Like if someone's loud enough that it has to be addressed, it will. But in most cases, you just move on and you let them. You realize that, like I was even on Reddit, I was banned from one of the large channels just for contributing, really, and as a commenter. And I just had to realize that those chat rooms were not for me anymore. Like they used to be, but they aren't anymore.